Now we've got our basic edit created and we've added titles to it. Let's also add the audio in. We imported the Arctic 37-second wave, and to use it, all I need to do is drag it to the timeline just like the other assets we've used so far. So I'm just going to click it and I'll drag it down. You'll notice I can drag it into any audio channel, but since we're using audio channel 1 for our wave logo movie, I'm going to drag it into audio channel 2. I'll also drag it to the left here, and you can see that scrolls me back to the beginning of our movie. Now with audio channels, just like video channels, they have a specific duration and you can set in and out points on them. We can also twirl down the triangle on the audio channel, and that gives us waveform information. Now I don't need to set any in and out points because my audio is already set up properly so that it starts at the beginning and ends at the end. But as you can see, my audio is a little bit shorter than all of my video. So what I may want to do is adjust some of the edits that we've created for our video and shorten the clips up to match that audio sequence. I'm going to do that just visually right here. As we scroll through, I've got quite a bit of footage to drop in, and I want to make it so that my edit rolls along fairly quickly. So I'm just going to take a couple of the longer sequences and just shorten them up a bit. Now we can go back to the source window and be really picky about this, but with this footage I don't think I have to be so careful. In most cases, I was really picky about the in point of the footage, but not so picky about the end point. So what I'm going to do is just shorten the footage up by going to the end of each one. And I'm not really worried about where it ends. So I'll just drag the Ski Ridge movie back a little bit. The shaving movie is already a little short, so I'm just going to pull that over and re-snap it back to the end of the new movie file. We've got a lot of this Tent Horizon movie, so I'm going to snap it to the other two movies first, and then once again I'll just take that end point and kind of pull it in a little bit so that it's a little bit shorter. Our Ski Across movie was probably the only one where we picked really good in and out points, so I'm just going to pull it over and leave it as is. And let me scroll down and see how we're doing here. When I look at the last two clips, it looks like we probably want to shorten this up a little bit. So again, I'm just going to pull that back, and as I do so, you can look up in the program monitor up here at the top and see exactly what frame that new footage is going to end on, right when he's walking off the edge. I'll click and drag the polar bear movie over, shorten it up a little bit, and then we'll take our wave movie here, and I can shorten it up. Notice when I get close to the edge of the sound file, it'll snap right to the end of the sound. Now I'll just bring that logo clip in at the end, and we'll adjust our titles so that they're back over the proper places. Now the dragging title goes with the Ski Across movie, so I'll probably have to move the first two titles out of the way to get them all in the right spot. And remember, don't click on the menu, click on the name of the clip in order to move it. And now I think we probably should take a look at what we've done so far. What I'd like to do is just play through the timeline, and we can use our spacebar control to do that. But I'll show you one other control that can be really handy, the home key. If you find the home key and press that, that's like a rewind, and it'll take your playhead right back to the beginning, and then I can hit spacebar, and let's see how the audio is doing with our video. I'll just stop it right there with the spacebar again. Now we've got a pretty impressive project so far. It's a nice clean edit, and the audio sounds very majestic with all these nice scenes in here. Now I'm just going to scroll back a little bit, and I'm only going to do one little change, which you can play with this and do a lot more. But I noticed at the end that it would have been nice if wave had come in right when that last crescendo changed in the audio file. And a lot of times you can look down at the waveform and see when those things happen. For instance, right here, it looks like there's a little change in the volumes. So what I can do is use that as a reference, and I can shorten up this video a little bit. Now I can see from the cursor it looks like I've grabbed the opacity line instead, so I'm just going to let go of that, make sure it's back at 100, and I'll go and edit from the end of the clip. get the right cursor, and I'll just drag that on in. And all I want to do is have my polar bears clip end right about where that audio changes. We'll pull wave in a little bit, and we'll just stretch it out till it fills up the gap. And now I've set my clip transition to match the audio a little bit better. The last thing I might want to do is make sure that the audio fades out. And actually, this audio fades out quite well, but I just wanted to show you that it has one of these lines in it as well. And instead of controlling transparency at this point, it's controlling volume. I work with that line in the same way. If I wanted to fade out volume at the end, I could just Control-click to create a keyframe. Now that's at the original volume level. I'll Control-click again to create another keyframe at the end, and I'll just grab that new keyframe now and pull it down until it hits the bottom of the line, and that'll be a nice fade ramping down from maximum volume to minimum.